we're pretty nervous, but I think we'd had a pretty big lead up into it in terms of the conditioning element. I mean, Czech wasn't happy with our conditioning leading into and during the June series, so there's a big focus on that. So guys certainly felt like we'd put in the work. It was just more a case of trying to translate that onto the field.
Tackle only.
Out to the left they go. Retallick, quick hands, Reed, brilliantly done. Ioane to Squire! Liam Squire! Oh, so good!
We'd had a big change in our defensive policy in the systems, and in the lead up to the first test during camps and everything, there was a little bit of hesitation and a little bit of lack of trust in the system. And when we reviewed this game, we went back and looked at it, that certainly was the case. Guys weren't sticking to their roles, and because guys were hesitant in terms of their trust in the system, we were all over the shop. Guys sitting back, guys double defending, guys not chasing on the inside, guys sort of just defending out of the system because of the lack of trust. And I think it certainly showed, and it was pretty poor performance. And you give them a leg up straight away by just not trusting that system and not having that trust in your teammates, and even in the coaching staff as well, just by not believing in what it is they're trying to put in place for us. I remember thinking at this point of the game that we were just, physically we were just getting dominated, and I felt like we just went fronting up. And as I guess maybe a bit of a leader, you're just trying to think how you can stem the flow a little bit, but stemming the flow I feel comes from physicality, and I just didn't think that we'd front it up physically at all. Mate, he always does that, so he just blocked that out. Oh, it was pretty embarrassing. I think Czech, I can't really remember, but it was something along the lines of just to have a crack. Like, it was pretty embarrassing what we put out there in that first half, and I think the boss was just fed up and said, look, go out there and just give it a go. Whatever you got left in the tank, just try and make yourselves and make us proud with whatever you can do.
Here and picked up here, brilliant skills by Kurtley Beale. The race is on, they're not going to drag him in, and KB, welcome back.
Well, it's a hard one because if I'm being honest, yeah, we finished well, but at the end of the day, when you're up 54-20, whether you consciously do it or not, you kind of switch off a little bit, and I feel like they did do that. But I guess if you're going to take any positives out of it, yeah, we did finish strong, we did score some points. But I remember at the time personally thinking not too much of it, just because, yeah, we did score those points, but I felt at the time they probably did switch off.
And the Wallabies have lost 20 straight test matches to the All Blacks on New Zealand soil. The last one, as we saw earlier, at Carisbrook.
We're embarrassed about what we put out there that first game, and I think it wasn't so much coaches led, it was players led, because what we put out there didn't reflect well on us as individuals, but it didn't reflect the hard work that we put in leading up to that first test. So we ripped in, like we had a real big week of training. And then I remember the one thing Czech said to us before we went out there, I think that had a sheet of the plan of the program for the game, as they always do, and it said Bledisloe Cup presentation such and such time after full time. So they'd already pretty much assumed that they were going to win it. So that certainly got the boys pretty fired up. And the other thing he said was, look, you go out there and I want you to get a job over your opposite number. If you know, more than half of us can do that, and if all of us can do that, we'll certainly give ourselves a chance of winning.
Big start for the All Blacks as they go wide, intercepted though, and nobody in front of Israel Folau. Oh!
Well, the easy try was the first couple of minutes. It was talking about lack of trust in the system from that first game. If you watch the way that he scores that, it's purely because of the defensive system that we were trying to put in place. And I remember as a playing group, particularly in the back three and the backs, we said to each other, look, whether we believe in the system or not, let's just do it and see where it gets us. So for us, that first 2 minutes, the system was to just everybody get up, Izzy closes at the end, and then I'm coming around the back. And going for the intercept is a part of the system. So the fact that it worked in the first 2 minutes, I think, was the best thing for us, because it gave us trust in it for the rest of the game, but also gave us confidence for the rest of the game as well.
For Genia, and he's going to have a run. Genia, McKenzie comes across, gives it to Hooper. He pops it out. Oh, what a try! Bernard Foley. It's right.
So Aaron Smith obviously I think tries to put pressure on me to try and make me come inside, backing that Artie Savia as a flanker would take me, but because the scrum wheeled, gave me the opportunity to run and find some space, and obviously Hoops does an amazing job to support, and so does Nada on the outside of him. But it's one of the few times I guess that you manage to find something positive out of a pretty poor scrum. But at the time we're just trying to concentrate on sticking to the process. It's not about getting too emotionally involved in, oh, we're going well, we're doing this, we're doing that. It's about just trying to stay in the moment. And I feel like we actually did that quite well for the majority of the game.
Yeah, and Smith, he's over! Somehow he wriggled free. Back in the tackle. Genia dummying. Genia! Will Genia! He's over!
An advantage play for off the ball.
What a try, Genia!
I think the lead up to that try was probably some of the best passage of footy we've played, just because we got a turnover just inside our 22, worked our way right the way up the field, and just put them under pressure by maintaining possession. And then obviously, leading up to this game, I was having a chat to Bernie Larkham, and he was saying, look, we want you to look to run and bring that part of your game, because it brings the forwards in and around you into the game as well. So I was just looking for that opportunity the whole time. And fortunately for me, the forwards and especially outside backs tended to get us on the front foot a fair bit.
Genia, here's Bill! Catley Bill!
Tatafu Pilota now was instrumental in this. He had 2 huge carries, which gets us on the front foot. If you watch the defence, it doesn't give them time to set. They're focusing on the big runners, kept on the outside, and KB just slips through that little space. I think a lot of us probably did, which is why we lost in the end, I think, because I think it was probably 4 minutes to go at this stage, 4 or 3 minutes, and you don't really think that you're going to lose the game because they scored, we scored, and you're thinking 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, we've got this. But I think that probably lapse in concentration is what cost us in the end, and it probably still hurts to watch this, to be honest.
Now it's Sapawanga. Quick hands! Reed! Inside! And back it goes to Bowden Barrett! Heartbreak for the men in goal!
So for me, the most disappointing thing wasn't so much not catching the restart, it's the fact that, obviously we catch it, they don't score, we probably exit out of there and do well, but it's the fact that they scored off a defensive error, which is really disappointing, because for the majority of the game I thought we defended really, really well. I think we end up double defending on someone when we shouldn't have, and they end up taking the space, which is more often than not what they do, because they're such a good team. So I'm not sure whether it was KB wasn't supposed to come in or Nard was supposed to take the short run and he goes out the back. Whatever it is. To be honest, I'm thinking we're going to win. Just because of the nature of the game. Because we'd answered back straight away, so I'm thinking let's get the ball back, let's have a crack. No, I hadn't at this stage. I'm not sure if it was full time after this or not. I don't know.
They tap it, and New Zealand have done it. Gutsy effort, down 17-0 at one stage.
Just disappointed, real flat, just because we'd played so well, and for me personally, I think it was the best game that as a team we'd played all year last year, and we didn't manage to get the result, which is pretty deflating. But yeah, look, it was a pretty somber mood in there. Oh, it was amazing. We got given presented a little bit of history behind it and what it represented, what it meant, and for me personally, it was one of the jerseys I was really looking forward to wearing. I just really wanted to be in the team to wear it, just because of how special it was, and it was also someone like Kirtley, the opportunity for him to wear it and to play with him while he wore it, because it obviously has pretty huge significance to him. Well, to be honest, it has a special. Every time we play them and they perform that, it has a special significance, regardless. Just because it's something that I always looked up to as a kid growing up. But yeah, it was two cultures. Them obviously representing their culture by doing the haka, and then us by wearing the Indigenous jersey, so it was pretty special, I thought.
Alexander switch now from Smith to Zopawanga. Intercepted! And Reece Hodge over the halfway. They won't catch him. Hodge runs it around and he's going to put it down.
Yeah, this is an assist from me to Hodges, surely. No, on this one, I just had a feeling that was the play. I could see Zopawanga was still standing quite flat, and Aaron Smith didn't exactly look like he was going to play it right. So I kind of read it and just made a decision to put a lot of pressure on Lima, and it worked out well. Well, I think getting first points in any game is really important, but I think it's something that we probably need to go away from, because I think if you think that way, I guess it has a the opposite effect, in that if you don't get first points, you can feel kind of deflated and disappointed. Obviously, it's ideal, but either way, you just got to make sure you stay in the game, stay in the process, and concentrate on what it is you're trying to do. For me personally, and what I was trying to drive in the group was, we're just not going to let what's going to happen. Well, we're not going to let what happened in Bledisloe 2 happen again. We're going to stay in the fight, and we're going to make sure that we're switched on for the entire contest.
Screaming and hollering.
Reece Hodge, 53 metres. He's got the distance, the direction. He's good. It's over.
He's got the distance easy. It's more a case of if he's got the accuracy. He could hit that from 60, probably even 70. You see what happens here. Hodgie kicks this, and they obviously end up getting a restart with, I think, 3 minutes to go again, and this time we catch it. 2 minutes to go. Well, the thing is I was off. So what I was thinking, if I was on, ideally what I was thinking was catch, but then play to exit, play to kick, and keep the ball in, and then put 15, pretty much 14 in the front line, just have the halfback covering at the back, because again, up until that point, I feel like we defended very, very well. We covered a lot of their threats and a lot of their attacking opportunities. We didn't give them too much of, so.
More heartache for the men in Wallaby goal. Oh, there's a gone! It's all over! The drought was broken in Brisbane.
Yeah, it was pretty special just because of what happened in Bledisloe 2. I mean, it's always special when you beat the best team in the world, but made even more so by how sombre it felt in the change rooms. And even again, I felt like we played better in Bledisloe 2 and we still lost. But you take it, 100% you take it. Well, I think the biggest thing it says to me is the importance of game one, and just not starting slowly. I think they're a side that you can't give them a leg up in any kind of way, whether it's during the match or in terms of the series, giving them that. Like in the last 2 years, I think they've won the first Bledisloe incredibly easily. So that first game is just important, because if we know we're competitive and we create a contest, it's going to be that way throughout the whole series. Game 2, we were competitive, we probably had the chance to win. Game 3, we win. So if we can start that right away from game 1, I think it changes the whole dynamic of the series.